members, thank you for this opportunity to give this speech. Thank you for all the public for showing up tonight. On behalf of all the council's Democrats, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to our accomplishments and our visions for this year. We also thank all of the city employees who work hard to run our city because we could not do the job that we do without them. So thank you to each and every one. This year, in order to develop our vision, all the Democratic members of the council had the opportunity to work together and contribute to the speech. As a result, this speech is the product of our collective Democratic voices, was a collaborative process, and is diverse. And I want to thank each and every one of you for contributing and participating, whether or not it was written or it was verbal. I truly appreciate your input. Like our vision, one of the reasons I love the city of Kingston and serving on the council is because of our diversity. Our city is made up by artists, Brooklynites, families who have been here for generations, people who moved here to make a new life, small business owners, hard-working middle-class families, and those who struggle financially. Like the composition of our city, the Democratic aldermen are also diverse. We have different interests. We're born and raised in different locations. We have different family life and work experiences, and we have different ideas for the city of Kingston. We don't always agree, and nor should we. Sure, our diversity can create challenges, but we must embrace it. Our diversity is part of our democracy. It makes us stronger. It tests our ideas. And it offers us new ways to look at common problems. However, at the end of the day, we all have one vision: to make the city of Kingston better. So before we talk about our 2015 vision, let's look back at our accomplishments over the past 15 months. By no means is this a comprehensive list of what we accomplished, but it allows us to show you what we've done to successfully move the city forward. We worked hard to address the multiple residential and business issues that face Kingston and our wards on a daily basis. We responded to countless constituent concerns and complaints via email, mail, text, in-person conferences, and we held ward meetings. We walked in parades. We attended and spoke at numerous community events. And last year, we voted on approximately 230 resolutions and attended monthly committee meetings. And as a separate legislative branch of government, we reviewed, questioned, and approved the city's expenditures. We digested hundreds of pages of communications, questioned department heads about practices, debated and approved policies, contracts, bonding proposals, and the budgets which we kept below, and the budget, which I'm proud to say we kept below the 2% tax cap. We held healthy policy debates with the mayor, as we should, because we are a separate legislative body. We brought the Kingston sinkhole to the surface. None of us want the sinkhole to become another Boston Big Dig, and we don't want to celebrate its birthday with another cupcake. So when Mayor Gallo recommended a solution to fix the sinkhole early last year, we gave our constituents an opportunity to ask the experts and city officials questions, hear about the construction design plans, the impact on the neighborhood, and the timeline to open the Washington Avenue sinkhole. We also advocated for healthy recreational opportunities for our children. When we were informed that the BMX lease had expired, our community risked losing a healthy, active activity and safe activity for our children. The BMX community has been a staple in our community for decades. And it's been placed down at Kingston Point Park, and the volunteers there have committed thousands of hours to run a successful track for our kids. I'm proud that the Common Council approved the contract to renew the contract last year, and we look forward to approving another contract this year so that the kids can continue to ride. We stood up for public safety. After recognizing that the city's emergency notification system was substandard, we called for a better and quicker way to communicate with residents, especially the elderly. This past year, we authorized funding to move forward with an emergency notification system, which Alderman Brown was discussing earlier, and which has been put into active use. With you, we saved our water. We acted boldly and promptly in response to citizen concerns about the Niagara bottling proposal. Shortly after Kingston citizens sounded the alarm that a California-based company wanted up to 1.75 million gallons of our water on a daily basis, we hosted hundreds of people in these chambers. We listened to their concerns and their objections to the proposal. And those people were from not only from the city of Kingston, but they were from our neighboring communities. The Conservation Advisory Council promptly provided us with an intelligent, thoughtful, and well-reasoned recommendation for us to help protect our water supply and give the public a voice. We passed resolutions that called for the town of Ulster to recognize the city of Kingston to be an involved agency, and for the DEC to be the lead agency. We were not deterred when our demands were ignored. When it appeared that the project would proceed, we demanded a longer public comment period, and we requested the town of Ulster hold a public hearing here in our common council chambers again. We are developing a vision for Kingston's future. Under President Noble's leadership, we now have a draft comprehensive plan. The last one was completed over 50 years ago and was stale and outdated. This document, once finalized, will guide our growth and the city decisions for the next 10 years and beyond. We supported the growth of our local economy. We advocated for changes to the traffic patterns in the Stockade District to improve traffic flow and to drive people to our local businesses. Recently, we acted on some of those changes, and we know that more work needs to be done. We called for the mayor to take action, and we saw results. While we had passed an unsafe building law, there was no funding in the budget to support the law. The mayor responded to our request, and we ultimately funded hundreds of thousands of dollars for him to tear down dangerous buildings. With that money, to the joy of many residents, we saw the destruction of homes that depressed neighborhoods. We also called for the resolution of the union contracts. While that resolution came with a $1 million price tag for the 2015 budget and approximately a $1.5 million price tag for the 2016 budget, at least the city employees have a resolution, and we know what the costs are, and we're able to budget accordingly. As we turn to our 2015 vision, we have to acknowledge that our vision is part of many others that contribute to the city of Kingston's success. Kingston is growing and it is evolving. The Uptown New Year's celebration packs the bars, restaurants, and Wall Street. The Old Positive Festival, which is in its 5th season, provides artists, musicians, and volunteers health and wellness care. Old Positive is even exporting the city of Kingston to places such as Petaluma, California, and Chicago. Our farmers market is the best in the region. The Kingston Classic continues to offer more running opportunities, and we have the best St. Patrick's Day parade in the area, and we anxiously await the opening of the Irish Cultural Center. The Lace Mill is being transformed from a boarded-up light to 55 artist homes. The Maritime Museum will turn an abandoned, financially burdened Rositas into a boat building school and educational space. New small businesses like the Kingston Wine Company and Diego's are popping up, and other businesses like Finkelstein and Partners are expanding. This year, we will contribute to the success of our community and build upon our successes from last year. Our 2015 vision, just like the makeup of all the council Democrats, is diverse, and we will strive to maximize our accomplishments. This year, we will address infrastructure, domestic violence, the environment and energy, education, our water, and trail rail. We will develop a plan to fix and maintain our infrastructure to provide better services to the community and in order to reduce costs to taxpayers. When we neglect our infrastructure and it fails, we can't drink clean water, safely dispose of our waste, travel from one end of the city to another, or provide safe places for our children to go after school. And taxpayers end up shelling more money out of their pockets to fix avoidable problems. Families are deterred from moving here, and businesses will take open shop elsewhere. Ultimately, as we all know, the city and we lose. We know that to maintain and fix our infrastructure is expensive. We have an $8 million sinkhole clogging up one of the city's main arteries. The Water Department has identified $18 million in infrastructure repairs and improvements. Nice chicken wing, Brett. The City of Kingston's infrastructure demands total another $13 million, and we need to potentially move our wastewater treatment plant at the cost of tens of millions of dollars. I'm proud to say that the Council has been responsive over this past year to the City's infrastructure needs. Last year, the Council approved all of the Mayor's requests to fund infrastructure improvements and repairs. We authorized over $7 million in repairs, which includes projects such as the Frog Alley Stormwater Pipe, Broadway Sanitary Sewer, Manhole Cover at Lucas Avenue in Washington, wastewater treatment plant improvements, and the re-signalization of the Washington Avenue and North Front Street. And while the sinkhole is dragged on, tonight the Common Council will approve what is hopefully the last of the contracts and bonding requests to finally fix this albatross. Recognizing the importance of our infrastructure, the Common Council has taken steps to implement a plan. Because we lack the personnel to create a sophisticated plan, we hired an outside company to help us. The company will assess the status of our infrastructure, pick the brains of our department heads, including the water department, and identify gaps in our in-house analyses. Ultimately, with a comprehensive plan, we will know the current condition of our streets, pipes, and buildings. We will know the life expectancy of different components of our infrastructure, and we will have an understanding of which projects to prioritize, because we know that not all infrastructure is equal. We know that we need clean water, and that's a priority, and we can drive around streets that may be blocked. We will know how much money we need to spend to invest each year to avoid the expense of emergency repairs, and we will be in a stronger position to apply for and receive grants. More importantly, we will evolve from a community that reacts to short-term work to one that engages in proactive, longer-term infrastructure management. Next, we will make reducing domestic violence a priority. Domestic violence is a serious problem in our community, and we must continue to commit resources to combat it. The statistics about domestic violence are frightening. In 2012, there were over 300,000 domestic violence and sexual assault hotline calls in New York State. 1 in 3 women will experience violence in their lifetime, and in 2012, 58% of female homicide victims were killed by an intimate partner, and there were over 300,000 orders of protection. Here, in Ulster County, there were approximately nearly 400 cases handled by the Family and Child Advocacy Center, and 658 children were seen by the center. And for 2014, there were over 2,500 incident reports on file. Of those, approximately 20% were, as a result of it, were responded to by the Kingston Police Department. Despite these frightening facts, domestic violence is still one of the most underreported crimes. Although the most common perception of domestic violence is physical abuse, it also includes isolation, economic abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, intimidation, threats, and sexual abuse. There are resources to help the public address domestic violence. Ulster County's Family Violence Unit seeks to employ the resources and experience of Ulster County Department of Social Services, the New York State Police, the Ulster County Sheriff's Department, the Kingston Police Department, and the Ulster County District Attorney's Office to investigate incidents of domestic violence, child abuse, and assaults on our elderly. The unit that coordinates the activities of all agencies involved in these types of investigations to ensure that the existing resources are employed in an efficient and effective manner. The objective of the unit is to specifically address the problems caused by these crimes so that ultimately there will be a decrease in the number of domestic violence incidents. We will do more to educate the public about domestic violence. A large portion of our population may be unaware of the extensive network of resources available to the public through Ulster County. We strongly believe that it is crucial that we raise awareness about the scope and the availability of the programs. In order to assist in this, the City of Kingston should educate the public through our website, as well as through our network of programs, such as our children and adult programming through the City of Kingston's Recreation Department and Community Action. Next, we will continue to implement sustainable energy, ecological, and environmental policies and practices. Last year, the Common Council passed a memorializing resolution opposing the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's new capacity zone that would hit the Mid-Hudson Valley residents and businesses with much higher electric utility rates, penalized simply due to deficient transmission lines from upstate power plants to New York City taxpayers. Despite coordinated multi-municipality, county, and state opposition, rate hikes up to 10% were implemented last May. This unilateral federal action only adds urgency to local development of renewable energy sources. We need to tap that deep well of New York State Energy Research and Development Authority administered New York Sun Initiative, which is a $1 billion investment to significantly expand deployment of solar capacity throughout the state while transforming New York's solar industry to sustainable and subsidy-free sector over time. The Common Council will closely follow the Pilgrim Pipeline project and act to protect Kingston residents and business owners. This past January, when the Common Council opposed the Pilgrim Pipeline, we were the first city in the state to take a stance, and we joined a coalition of municipalities concerned about the potential harmful environmental impacts the bi-directional oil pipeline would have on our sensitive waterways and a trampling of private property owner rights. We will make the city more energy efficient. Last year, the Common Council approved funding for a feasibility study to replace our old, inefficient network of streetlights with long-lived LED lights. Depending on the outcome of the current in-the-works consultant engineer design, we should be positioned to have an RFP for the installation of LED streetlights later this year. It cannot happen soon enough, with a potential $30,000 savings per month for taxpayers. We will continue to move Kingston towards a greener, cleaner future with less reliance on fossil fuels and greater development of renewable energies, sources, and production, and utility cost stability and savings. Last month, the Common Council voted its approval for a resolution expressing support for the Public Service Commission's decision on community choice aggregation, or CCA. CCA is a relatively new model of energy distribution found in a number of states, and has just recently been adopted by the New York State Public Service Commission as a model for the state. Subsequently, the Public Service Commission will actively seek candidate communities interested in demonstration project implementation. Closer to home, we will insulate the City Hall and city-owned building windows. Installing interior thermal insulating panels has proven to dramatically reduce building heating and cooling bills, in some cases paying for the initial cost in less than 2 years. Many communities, especially historic communities, have done that, and they've been enjoying significant savings for many years. And it is time for us to take the same action and pass on the energy savings to you. We will support initiatives to reduce waste. In 2014, Kingston completed rolling out single-stream recycling bins to every neighborhood in our community. This initiative represents a significant step towards diverting waste from our overburdened, expensive landfills. Education and awareness of recycling practices will be key to the program's success. In addition, the Common Council, in cooperation with the Conservation Advisory Council, has begun to research and recommend steps for the city can take to reduce our dependence on non-biodegradable single-use plastic bags. We know that many municipalities and counties have successfully initiated such bans, promoting reusable bags without negatively impacting small mom-and-pop stores. Together, we will forge legislation that makes sense for Kingston and send a strong message that we are committed to becoming a zero-waste community in order to reduce our costs to you, our taxpayers, and the impact on our environment. Next, we will support education. Our children must receive the education they need to be successful and thrive in life. This includes educational equality through fair testing, encouraging education through arts, additional after-school program assistance by financially supporting college students to assist with homework for at-risk youth, offering programs that encourage the participation of parents from low-income areas in the educational process, and educational programs for social development of low-level offenders as a means of breaking the cycle and assisting in securing employment. Next, we will give the City of Kingston a voice for the potential sale of our water outside of city limits. The Council recently faced the disturbing reality when we were basically deemed powerless in the potential sale of our water to Niagara Valley. Thanks to the power of the people, Kingston citizens, and a committed council, we were able to help prevent Niagara and the town of Ulster from going forward, despite the notion that our governing body was deemed not to be an involved agency in this process. This matter exposed a disturbing flaw in our city government. Currently, we, the Common Council, which represents you, the city, the residents, the Kingston residents, we had no voice in our most precious resource, our water supply. Efforts to correct this are being discussed, and the goal is to change the law to enable the council and future councils to intercede if there is reason to believe that public safety, health, or well-being is in jeopardy, based on a decision by the Water Department or the Water Board. We will support our economy in connecting the city through a network of pathways. We are excited about the Kingston Green Line, and we deeply appreciate the people dedicated to make the Green Line a reality. We need a network of pathways that will allow us to safely walk and bike throughout the city. This network will undoubtedly promote a healthier and more active lifestyle, fight obesity, and will make Kingston a more livable community. We also need tourist trains to grow our local economy. Over the past year, the rail attracted over 40,000 riders, and 30,000 riders were from out of the county. The rail brought and served over 16,000 cups of hot chocolate and more than 16,000 cookies. That's a lot of sugar. The rail brought, families spent their money at local hotels, ate breakfast at Dyson's, dinner at Savona's, and drank coffee and hot chocolate from Hudson Coffee Traders. Many local Kingston businesses were contracted to help produce the themed events. The influx of money helps our small businesses, places more money in our local economy, the city's coffers, and lessens the financial burdens on you, the taxpayers. As one alderman on our Common Council likes to say, I'd love to double our spending, but let's do it through generating revenue. Well, the rail is an opportunity for us to generate revenue. We will support the county, the rails, and the trails' efforts to develop a win-win solution. We know that the rail was not a good partner for many years. They neglected their obligation to maintain the railroad and maximize the corridor. As a result, our county executive moved forward with a division to develop a world-class rail trail. But then, to the county executive's credit, the rail changed directions. They revitalized their organization, brought us the Polar Express, tourist trains, and tours from across the East Coast, New York City, Connecticut, New Jersey, you name it, they came here, and they brought us an influx of money. We recognize that there may be challenges in order to move forward with both rail and trail. Some of those challenges include how to access the trail to swap out equipment. How do we make the path from Kingston Plaza to Glenford Dyke wide enough for both rail and trail? And what do we need to do? What do we need to do to receive DEC approval for both rail and trail to coexist? Let's move from fighting each other in the courts and wasting money on attorneys to proactively developing solutions. For Kingston's benefit, for your benefit, for our benefit, let's attract more families to New York's first capital, put smiles on kids' faces, collect additional sales tax revenue to reinvest in the services that we provide, support our local businesses, and develop a spectacular trail for walking, biking, and easily accessing all of our multiple and diverse areas of the city and beyond. We should not let this opportunity pass us by. It's time for the county, the rail, and the trail to work together. And in that, we will support you. So now, it's It's time for Kingston to leverage its wisdom of its longtime residents, embrace the ideas of new residents, and evolve into a sustainable and thriving city. If our diverse council can balance our history and traditions with progress, then we can come together, create, capitalize, and maximize opportunities for the benefit of our community. Thank you, and let's make this a great year.